fortunately. I'd like to call the June 26th meeting of the Lakeville Police Building Committee to order. I'd asked if anybody is recording the meeting besides LakeCAM. They are not. I'd also ask that everybody speak up, as Rita has to take notes. So
Well, after I leave,
after you leave,
Jen, I'm going to take minutes up until,
okay, so the
and Jen
recording
Joel will do the
be-
rest off of the camera.
Okay, all right, fantastic.
I am deaf, but I'll be all right.
The first order of business is approval of the meetings for the June 5th meeting. If anybody has any questions.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Second, construction update. Turn it over to Bob.
Thank you very much. Since our last committee meeting, you've had significant progress on the site. You've had an opportunity to drive by the site. You can see that it's really coming together. I'm very happy with it. We received sign-offs from the electrical, plumbing, and gas inspectors, along with the fire chief for the fire alarm. Painters have minor touch-ups for the inside and exterior portion of the buildings. Office furniture is almost complete. They need one more day for installation. They're coming back tomorrow. There are 3 exterior security cameras that need to be installed, and they will be done in next week. All landscaping, hydroseeding, and irrigation is complete. There are 2 rooms in the building that need flooring, and that will be happening on this Friday. Signage for the lobby, the plaque, and the exterior lettering for the building is installed. Final asphalt coat is installed, and the parking lines will be installed this Saturday, weather permitting. And over the next few weeks, we should see the following. Punch list for the exterior is ongoing and interior, and we will receive the engineer's affidavits possibly this coming week. So that's all I have right now. But again, we're very happy with the progress of the building, and I know that the department is happy too, so put a lot of work into it, and everybody's, again, teamwork has come together. AP Whitaker has been very good to work with, along with the architect Brian and his crew. So again, couldn't be more happy.
We currently have a TCO from Nate. It'll become a full certificate of occupancy once they plan to move in a few days before that. And Brian is planning to issue substantial completion in the date of July 1 at this point. Correct, Brian?
Correct.
So we're moving in that direction still of hopefully getting you guys in. It's still a floating date in my mind because we have to make sure all the radios are working, Tim's stuff's working, it all has to be tested, training has to be done. So I'm still targeting between the 15th and 30th somewhere. But it's floating right now, but we're on schedule with everything. I think everybody's in there working right now as far as our owner vendors. Nothing's being held up. Questions on schedule? I did include well actually, Brian, do you want to go through your changes first and then we'll go through the budget update?
Sure. I will go over my summary sheet that I hand out. It's probably familiar to a lot of you. The front page just gives you a contract summary and a change order summary. The last one I handed out was June 6th. This one's June 26th. And the front page, nothing has changed. There have been no change orders since change order 10, which was probably a couple months ago now. But on the back of the page, we have a proposed change order 11 in the amount of $11,412.52. And this includes several items. PCO 43 was voted and approved at your last committee meeting. We just haven't put it into the form of a change order yet. And these were some additional plantings that were between our site and the park site. Those additional trees and evergreens have been planted. The irrigation system has been coordinated with the plantings. So that's just finishing up the paperwork and putting the 1950 into a change order. And then we have 3 electrical and 3 site work items. And they're miscellaneous items that have been submitted by both Griffin Electric and Ramco as the site contractor. And this cleans up a lot of miscellaneous items that they've been asked to do in the last couple months. The PCO 44 was to bring three-phase power out to the sliding gate operator and also low-voltage conduit. There was some additional low-voltage conduit that was requested for Signet to get controls out to their pedestal. We were running it to the slide gate operator. They had to get from the operator to the pedestal for control wiring. And that was part of the earlier change order with Signet scope. This is the Griffin Electric scope. PCO 45, we installed 4 1.5-inch sleeves for the AV vendor. This is when Valley Communication was brought on board for AV work, and they wanted some pathways to get to the upper floor communication equipment room. So that was $384 for conduits. And PCO 46 was to give Signet power to their security panel in the outbuilding. We had added cameras and we added access control. No, we added surveillance cameras to the outbuilding. And Signet could put the devices out there, but they needed power to get to their access control panel. And when you get a $269 change order from Griffin, you're doing pretty well. But that was
That's true.
that was just the cost to get it from the electrical panel, which was in the outbuilding, to Signet's control panel for access control. PCO 49, 50, and 51 were all Ramco's revised. One of them's revised the grading and installed some yard drains. This was coordinated through ZCE. They're the site and civil. They gave some revision to grading, and it was performed. 50 was an added irrigation sleeve at the trench drains, again to get irrigation from one side of the street to the other side of the street. And then 51 was our classic low septic vent, which was in the front yard, which I had to move to around the corner, and big difference. It's made a tremendous difference. Now you have a front lawn, which we were all anticipating, instead of this candy cane, which was sprouting up in the front lawn. So those have been reviewed, and we recommend approval of those in the amount of $11,412.52. If we want to go down before you take any other action, there were 2 here that says pending change requests that we have actually rejected, and I'll explain what they are. PCO 47, there are 2 closets in the patrol sergeant's room. Patrol sergeant's room is all the way down to the far end of the building to the right. It's off the patrol room. We have 3 doors. 2 are smaller closets. The 3rd door is a large storage closet for equipment. And we had not included anything within those closets. They were just designed for storage. And the police department had requested one of the closets be outfitted with a closet pole and shelf, and then the second closet be outfitted with adjustable shelves. Well, AP Whitaker went back to their casework contractor, and I think this is just a case of I don't really want to do the work. So they submitted a price of $57.50 for a closet pole and some adjustable shelves. And we just said this is not fair and reasonable. So we are not going to AP Whitaker to get that work completed. But I still think it's something that the police department are requesting. We'll just have to either have somebody else do it or have them do it themselves, or do it for something less than $57.50. Unless you as a committee feel that you want it done through AP Whitaker, you can then take action on that PCO 47, but we feel it's not fair and it's not reasonable. The PCO 48 was submitted because they had 4 doors with access control, that we have access control readers on both sides of the doors. And the hardware that's installed only has a fixed lever on one side of the door. So there was, because the opposite side of the door had a lever you could activate, it defeated the access control. So we needed to replace hardware on 4 doors to give you fixed levers on both sides of the door. The reason that we rejected this 3717 request is because we had the correct levers in our specification. The subcontractor submitted them wrong. We didn't pick up on it on the submittal process, but we actually pointed out to him that the lever that we had in our specifications would have been fixed on both sides. So we're throwing it back to the subcontractor saying it was his error in the submittal process. So we're rejecting this 3717 and just making it the responsibility of the subcontractor to change out those levers. So we don't recommend you take any action on 48 other than if you want to vote to reject it. So that's all that we know. There's another one that we can talk about though after you want to take some action on this.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for proposed change order number 11.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Sean, you did?
Yes. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing none? Approved.
There's, Sean, if I could just
Yep.
continue, it says for owner's consideration and it says none. But I'd like to add one for your owner's consideration. The exterior of the building looks fantastic. If you get close and look at the detail of it, I have not been happy with the subcontractor that we've had on board for caulking. It's been a struggle to get them to perform. It's been a struggle to actually get them to complete the scope that we have in the specifications. But when they have been out and they have performed, they've been doing what they feel is an acceptable job. And where they're caulking is where the siding meets the trim. And anywhere we've asked for the hardy plank siding, wherever it meets PVC, that's to be caulked. Well, they've used a white caulk, and that joint is caulked, but it really doesn't help define that transition between siding and trim. Also, in inside corners, we have a white PVC, and now they have white caulking against the siding, and it just doesn't look crisp the way I'm looking to get it done. The painting contractor has come along and actually, on the inside corners, he's painted a sample to have it match the color of the siding. And he's gone back and shown a sample where he could take the same color of the siding and clean up that caulk line. So you have no longer this, what looks like a
I
smudge.
took a
going
picture of
down.
it, Brian, for you, so people could just see what you're.
It creates a crisper line between the siding and the trim.
Is
So
the
they-
caulk,
They just caulked it, ran their finger down each joint.
Yeah.
And spread it out.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but it could be cleaner.
so is it square enough that you can paint, or is it
It is.
a radius?
No, he can make that a clean edge, a straight edge.
So what you're looking at in that picture, the top is what we own, and then below it is an area that he's painted.
If you're gonna finish that, I think, you're not gonna go back and do this later. I think we have a painting contractor on board that is willing to do this. There'd be a bit of hours for him to do that. But I think that the net result is gonna just be a more crisp exterior than what I'm looking at right now. You can't see it from the street. It's not something that you're gonna drive by and go, oh, look at that. But if you're within 5 feet, you notice it. You think, it just looks like something wasn't finished there. We don't have a lot of inside corners, and I don't think the hours are gonna be that extreme. But I'd like to request to get at least a proposal, and if it's reasonable, have the painter clean up the exterior for us.
So this is interior and the exterior, similar effect?
The exterior
Obviously,
corner,
this
we
is
have
worse.
PVC to PVC, so we're fine on the
We're good,
exterior
okay.
corner.
But you said the hardy board and the trim, so what is it, that the caulking is taking that,
It's taken the
quarter of an inch
crisp,
away?
it's taken the crisp line
yeah,
and kind of made it look like a finger smudge.
you don't have a picture of that
I
one?
didn't take a picture of that one, no.
I think it's worth having it priced.
And that's what I have for owner's
Because if we
consideration.
don't do that, there won't be any paint on the caulking.
And there doesn't have to be,
Right.
but I think it would help the appearance.
Yeah, it's not called to be painted,
Right.
so.
Yeah, it's not something that we said caulk it, then paint it.
Mhm.
It's just, we wanted that caulk, we wanted it caulked. Now that
So,
you're looking at it.
What would the estimate roughly be?
I would say roughly $5,000.
Well, we all said we wanted to do it right from the beginning, so.
Right.
So the first step is an estimate. Doesn't-
Right.
that doesn't-
Yeah.
Well, we don't wanna hold them up, do we?
They can come back and, they wouldn't hold, it's not holding them up, the painter,
No,
no.
Not for the completion.
No.
okay,
No, we can get a price from them first before we move on anything.
okay.
And the site committee's meeting in
Yeah, that's true.
half, so.
Well, I guess we need,
All right.
make a motion to get a proposal for that.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Who made the motion?
Rich made the motions, Tom seconded.
Brian will probably send him something to that.
I'll send you something.
Yeah, a little background on that too is, the waterproofer, or in the caulker, said that he didn't own this work, which clearly he very much did. Held his feet down, said he wasn't doing it, so AP Whitaker actually brought in their own caulker to do it. So they had to bring in another company to do these areas, which is why I feel they're not as crisp as they could be, but it's another company that we had to bring in to get the work done.
Probably the only negative so far in the
Yeah,
trades.
most sub-sites say we're very responsible. This one happened to be a swing and a miss. We had it within our specification that all edges of PVC siding are to be caulked. And we had assemblies of PVC. So my interpretation of that was if I have an assembly made up of 5 pieces of PVC, all edges within that assembly are to be caulked. And the filed sub-bidder says, no, it's just the top edge and the bottom edge. Nothing in between gets caulked. It's all edges of PVC. So if I have a piece that's applied to a piece, it's all edges. And they just would not reach that same interpretation. Obviously for money reasons. That was more caulking than they had bid on. And so they were just saying, I'm just gonna do top edge, bottom edge. And AP Whitaker did go out and get somebody to do all edges, like I had requested of. So,
Anybody have anything else for Brian?
Nope.
Owner vendor updates?
I'm just gonna jump back up, I'm sorry, to, the budget update, because now that Brian went through those, I can, so.
Chad, did you say you had something too?
For new business. So
Oh, okay.
Another change order.
So, going through my budget update here. The items highlighted in yellow are the new changes, and these are changes that we talked about last week. The first one, the 159,980.39. If you remember, we talked about there was some microwaves that wouldn't be needed, so we thought that number was gonna drop by about $30,000. Ryan actually found out that additional $30,000 was needed for that system, so we're carrying that full amount there. And then under that, the 213, 737, these were the microwave upgrades for the entire town system that Ryan went over last week and we approved. And then 2 items below that, the gym equipment that the committee approved as well. So if you follow those down to our contingency line under the adjusted budget, we're at 386, call it 386,000. If I take out the 11 grand or so that we just did, we're about at 374 right now with our contingency. questions on that? If you look at this project as a whole, where what we use the contingency for, I believe we're somewhere around $30,000 for design changes. Everything else has been owner upgrades or value added back to the project.
And I'll also note that the owner, if you're looking at Taylor's change order log, at the end of his change order log, about $345,000 has been added owner's scope. And if you're looking at our contract, anything that the owner has added, we have a percentage of fee that could be attached to that because we're actually assisting the owner in these changes. But we're not invoicing for anything additional for the added owner scope. So we're doing that to support the project in the town, and our fee's our fee, and there's no additional costs because of any of these owner upgrades, if you're wondering about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything else?
Yeah, almost.
Owner vendor updates.
Going on to this action log with the blue, I don't know if yours is in color or not, but blue line at the top. So I think we'll just bounce back and forth, Tim, if that's okay. Because you have a handle on these as well. But the transition to the new facility, we're still shooting, like I said, mid to end of July. How are you looking on your end?
Everything's on schedule.
Yeah, great. E911, they were in, was it today?
They finished up today.
Finished up today. They're just ready for us to call them and say, we're ready for the switchover. So all their circuits are in. Central dispatch, again, no change since last time. Everything's ready to go, and that's when the PD in town feels that's necessary. Security, Bob mentioned there was a couple cameras left that Signet was installing. That'll be done this week, and then they'll do their training. So they're on schedule. Radios, Cybercom's been on site, I think, all this week, working on the antennas on the roof and working on the radio system. They're on schedule, I'm told. The dispatch equipment is installed, that's complete. Fiber is installed, that's complete. The overall plan for the town IT equipment, we know what that is. It's all moving over. New computers, I believe most of those are on site, and Tim started installing those.
Yep.
Phones, the phone company has been on site, and they've started to do their install at the MDF room. Cable service, Comcast is installed. Audio visual, they'll be finishing up next week. They've been at the site this entire week. E911 recording equipment, that is in E911 scope. Comms room mapping is complete. That room looks great. MorphoTrack, the fingerprint machine that was ordered, hasn't come in yet.
It's actually at Town Hall.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Good. So it's in.
It is.
Furniture, so we've had all the office furniture delivered. Install will be finished up tomorrow, and then the rack storage will be shipping at the beginning of July. No change for LakeCAM. Everything's ready for them. Once the town moves in, they can start their install process. And as far as the TVs, Tim, I know you ordered those.
They have not been ordered yet,
Oh.
but that's in my to-do list
Okay.
for tomorrow. And stepping back a little bit to item, the phones. MDCon expects to have it largely completed by Friday.
Good.
And the cable has physically been brought into the building, but as far as the dissemination within the building.
Needs to be run to
they're
final
coming
TVs.
July 5th
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, any questions on those? Again, I think we're in good shape. I do have one more action log, our closeout action log, one with a bunch of yellow on it. I know it looks like a lot of yellow, but they're things that we all have a grasp on. So, number one, the move-in date, we talked about that. 3, the training of systems. Right now, AP Whitaker is putting together his schedule for HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and then we're getting our training schedule for Signet, Valleycom, radios. So we're working on those schedules now, and then that'll be turned over to the police department and the town for anybody who wants to attend those trainings. They'll also all be video recorded as well. Interior punch lists, those are said to be done by AP Whitaker this week, so that list has been given to them. The exterior punch list, Brian did his punch list today. They're in very good shape. Bob actually did one a few weeks ago and gave it to the contractor as a kind of a formal one, a non-formal one, to get them going. So most of the items have been taken care of. Substantial completion will be July 1st. We talked about that. C of O, as I said, we have the temp C of O, and then we'll look for the full C of O. Nate said he'll grant that before the move-in. Affidavits, we have our structural affidavits in, and the MEPs will come in this week. Closeout docs, AP Whitaker has started sending us those for a while now, so those will be all submitted, then reviewed by Brian's team and us before going to the town. Final DPH inspection, Signet has one more, it's actually what do I want to say? It's not a radio, but a speaker that's going in the detention cell light fixture. Once that gets installed, that fixture will be caulked, and then we can call for the DPH inspection.
I did give them a heads up that I was gonna be requesting it in early July. So at least I've given them a heads up. They didn't come back saying that they were gonna be on vacation or anything.
Yeah, they've been very responsive as of late, so hopefully that continues. 16 is actually closed, the site improvements, that was for final paving, signage. Actually, striping is open. Hopefully that happens this Saturday, weather pending. Final cleaning, they did do one final cleaning. There'll be a final cleaning once everything is done. Attic stock, most of that has been turned over to us. We're gonna sign off on it. Some of that will be kept up in the attic, and some will be kept in the outbuilding, per the PD. That's where they would like it. Final keying of the doors, we're working on that now to get the keys turned over to the department. E911 is, like I said, all set. MDCOM phones are being installed. Signet security ongoing. Cybercom radios ongoing. Little crossover here, sorry, but Valleycom ongoing. Just a reminder for the town and the department to update any mailing addresses, websites, reminders to the town when the move happens. Commissioning is about halfway done now. He's still going through reports, still being part of the process of startups. So that's almost done, and then the last thing I have here is discuss a ribbon cutting at some point.
The insurance is taken care of then?
The insurance has been turned over,
Yeah.
to the town, because we were, typically, when you get substantial completion is the date the town takes over the insurance. But because it was so close and we were starting to bring in the furniture and all of Tim's equipment, we wanted to make sure that nothing happened to that, because the contractor's insurance didn't cover any of the equipment that we brought in. So we spoke with Rita and got that switched over.
Any questions of Caleb? Okay. Next item is review and approve invoices.
Before we do that, do you want to do
The
new business? Yeah.
All right. New business, this was presented to me by the chief. The chief requests a change order.
Wants to buy one of these?
No, that's owned by the Southeastern Mass Law Enforcement Council. It's just gonna be stored at our new station. The chief states he would like the committee to discuss the possibility of a change order. In his absence, he was nominated as the control chief of the Semlac Mobile Command Post. This nomination suits the needs of Semlac due to our storage area and our central location within southeastern Massachusetts. The intention is to store this vehicle in an impound lot, but we would need an exterior electrical outlet in the rear of the outbuilding. Access to electricity in this location would also be used for electric needs for the boat, charging batteries, etc. Electricity could also be used for any crime scene services equipment used in the process of seized motor vehicles. The change requests an addition of a 110-volt electric outlet on the exterior rear of the outbuilding. He also says on a less important request, it has been suggested that we may need access to 220 electric outlet in the interior of the outbuilding for an air compressor. And thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Matthew J. Perkins, Chief of Police.
Is it 220 in the outbuilding already?
I think it's just 110.
Yeah.
I would, I think we've had discussions about how big of an air compressor you really truly need. My hunch is we can find something.
That runs on 110.
110.
Yeah.
We
that
talked
will
about
serve
that.
the needs.
Definitely.
My concern is this vehicle's pretty big.
Yeah, where they
We
gonna
really
put it?
struggled to get, that, what was the area called? Whatever the-
Impound lot.
And this vehicle goes in there, you gotta make sure that there's space for it to get out. And that's gonna take up a good chunk of that area.
Looking at the area, we've looked at it, because there's also a training trailer that we have access to for firearms, which is a 53-foot box trailer.
That's gonna go there too?
When we do trainings, that'll go in there as well, and it will fit.
I'm not saying it won't fit. I'm worried about all the other junk.
Backing in and out. Don't let me be driving it.
That was one of your biggest problems, was where do you store all this stuff?
Right.
And we decided to do this for that purpose. And this vehicle's gotta be able to get out, right? So, I mean, how big is this vehicle?
I honestly don't know.
I mean, it
how
looks
big
pretty long.
They're big.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have some say in the electrical outlet. I'm not sure if we have say in what they are allowed to store or not. If you think it works, who are we?
So anyway, he's just looking for an outlet, an exterior outlet on the back of
On
the
the
building
back of
for
the
that.
Yeah.
Which there is a
That
panel,
And the boat.
that back corner.
And a boat too, and besides
Well,
that?
it's our boat.
Oh, okay.
Instead of multiple things, so I gotta think it's more than a duplex outlet, I gotta think
Yeah.
would do a couple if there's more than just that. I think that's the least of them. Or maybe it's worth an exercise of having Ryan's team kind of look at where this thing's going to park and making sure that things can get in and out with it, that it's not just haphazardly parked and kind of takes up, everything was designed around everything that we knew at the time, right? Now, this is a pretty significant piece of equipment that's gonna take up a lot of space. Maybe it can go behind the building or something, but I don't, it might be worth.
Well, that's where it
That's
is
where
behind the building.
it's behind
See,
the
building. Yeah,
we
behind.
changed it so we'd have this space, because we had no place to put these
Gotcha.
vehicles. And you know, Sean, as well as I do, it winds up to be a problem. Because everybody just goes in and
Drops it.
dumps it, you know?
What, on the trailer, I'm assuming a rig to pull that, right? It's not being pulled by this thing.
No, the boat is our boat,
Right.
and that's gonna be wrapped and stored out there in the wintertime with a charger on the batteries. So it will not be pulled by this, no.
Do you want to propose getting Griffin to provide a price for the outlet?
It'll be more than 290.
Well, they've already run the power out there, so now they're just,
But the walls are all enclosed, right? They gotta bust
Yeah.
into the walls.
they're plywood too.
The panel in the outbuilding is toward the Bedford Street side of the building. So the shortest distance to get to the back would still be on that Bedford Street end. If you said bring an outlet all the way to the park side end, that's just a lot of conduit and a
Right.
lot of wiring to go to the other end. So I would think to get one on the Bedford Street back side of that building would be your easiest and
Best bet.
best bet.
And then you want one on the interior too, right, for the compressor.
There are.
There's
outlets.
power on
There's
the
power on the interior, it's just not 220.
Oh, it's just not 220, so then
Yeah.
we wouldn't have to do anything. You
You can get a
compressor.
compressor that runs on 110, yeah.
There's also power on the exterior, on the carport side. If they wanted any battery block heaters or anything for their cruisers, there is power on the carport side. There's just nothing on the back side.
So if you ran the outlet, say to the Bedford end, that may or may not even work for you, right? You could
I-
still be sitting there with a long extension cord.
I don't know that answer. This was presented to me by the chief a couple of hours ago, so he was nominated for this position today. So,
If it comes from the Bedford side, it's gonna go in a conduit that already exists.
No. No, we have to get from the panel board over to the back side. And because everything would be surface mounted, it would be in conduit.
So what does that mean, getting it there?
Up the wall, across the ceiling, down the wall, and out through to the back.
So in this picture, it looks like the power is coming off this back driver's side. Behind the rear wheel.
That's huge, my God.
and it looks
So-
like it runs right along the whole,
But yeah, it looks like they're plugging it in up here
Yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah.
but the connection on the truck is back here. It's like a
Right.
camper connection. So it's probably just a trickle charge that they're looking for.
We can get a price.
right?
I think it could be a good exercise too, if you took that impound lot, and got the size of this
Yeah.
from the chief
Just
and
gonna
just
say that.
placed it, so we can,
This is where you can park it, this is where you can plug it in. Because you'd need access then to drive it out the gate
Right.
without putting stuff in front of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And the gate is the gate at this point.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, the gate's in.
and looking at the width of it too, I mean, it's pretty wide.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
You know, I don't know how big that gate is. How big that gate is?
Yeah, it's
I
a double gate, so it's
don't
a
know.
wide
Is
gate.
it
It's about a 12-foot gate.
12 foot?
Yeah, it's probably like an 8 foot.
So that means you're gonna have, you put it in there, you gotta go away to turn it around.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You gotta back it in to pull it out, right?
it's a 20-point turn.
Tom, you know what happens when you impound vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you stick them there and they don't move,
No, they don't.
you know? And so if you take up a good portion, you're gonna be very limited, and some of that stuff, that's one of the biggest problems here, was no place to store it, and some of it stays for years. You know, you have to keep it for years.
Right.
So, I mean, that could become a potential problem.
Well, if it does become a problem, then they'd have to find another location for it.
Does this have to be on the police property? Could it be behind the town hall? or
No,
something
this
like
has to be on
Police property.
police property under
Surveillance.
surveillance.
Yeah, that makes sense, just asking the question.
So how many police departments are involved in this?
I wanna say close to 40.
Everybody's got plenty of room over
Yeah, well,
there. They do,
They do.
big parking lots. I don't know, just,
but, Chief Perkins our Chief Perkins has been named the control chief for this particular piece of equipment.
how long is that for?
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't go on vacation, right?
Just glad it wasn't me. So,
So they're looking for a permanent place to put it.
for as long as he's the control chief for this, yes. Yep. So, we need a motion to,
I'd like the area to be measured to see, you know,
I
what the
can do that.
requirements are,
I'll-
because this is
tomorrow,
huge.
we'll get the dimensions of
Specs
this,
and all that, yeah.
have them emailed to you, and take.
And for the boat too, if you want
Yeah.
to give me the benches to the boat, we can
Okay.
Yeah,
put them both in there.
the new
So we
position
have-
came with a camper. That's how it worked out, yeah.
You
I
have
would confirm the
stuff,
power requirements too, because that's a pretty hefty cable some coming out stuff. here.
Right.
It doesn't look, that's what I was thinking, that doesn't look like a 110 cable.
But if it's, and I had campers, it could
Like a
just,
trickle
it
charge
could be
for
a
the
trickle, so
battery.
so you put an attachment on it and all you're doing is drawing a little bit of power, but you wanna make sure, this has obviously more stuff in it than a regular camper.
Yeah.
So it might need more power.
yeah,
So
we,
you might
we,
need a special outlet.
we put this impound lot in and we basically took this odd shape of land and made it into an impound lot. I don't think there was any intent, 50 cars or anything like that. It is what it is. What do we have behind this building that's gonna have to get moved over?
Right now, we have,
We've got 2 cars that have been sitting out there
no,
for
they're gone.
years.
They're gone. Those cases have been dissolved, but, right now we have a, cargo trailer and the boat. And that's it right now. But the cargo trailer we can put inside, because there's no gas or fuels or anything in it. So we can put that inside if we really need to.
And the boat's seasonal, right?
And the boat's seasonal, yeah. Yeah, the boat's gonna be in the water from June to September. So,
Off subject, but how are you gonna control your access
as far
as far as keeping that gate clear, other than signs?
if somebody's in the,
Soccer.
we'll just have to
Yeah.
go out there and ask them to move,
Yeah.
if it's needed. That,
So, how about if do we have to make a motion to get a price, to do the wiring? Or do we just wait and see what Brian comes up with?
I think there's 3 things that have to get done. One, I think Brian should definitely draw this out to see, make sure that it fits and all of that. 2, I think we need to get the specs on the size of it, and then also the truly the electrical requirements and what kind of outlet that is, because it could be more than just a 110 outlet. And then, once we have that, then I think we get a price for whatever type outlet
Yeah.
that is. And it's gonna have to, like you said, go on the Bedford Street side, so when you're drawing this up, the back side has to be
Right.
closer to there.
Is there an extra copy?
Yep.
There. All right.
It probably has 25 or 50 feet of cord on it if it's like a typical camper, so it can run to the other side and plug in, right? You wouldn't really need an extension cord. I'm just,
I've never-
again, if
I've
it's
never
like a
seen it.
camper, that's probably what it has. I don't know, but you'll get that from them. And that's what this appears to be. Yeah, actually, when you're getting that, maybe you should ask for the length of the power, the cord that that's supposed to be a truck, yeah. And they come in different lengths, because that one, find out what that is, but you can buy different lengths, so that might be one option depending on where the truck goes. You can buy a bigger cord for the truck to reach wherever the outlet is.
Yeah, to maybe not run that on the inside too far, have to run it too far.
Yeah, yeah, put the cord, the power outlet at the most efficient location, and
Yeah.
then
Run it
get
with
a
the cord.
longer power cord off of the truck.
okay. Review and approve invoices.
There's the master, oh, actually, this doesn't, so, Brian, you haven't signed the rec, right?
I have just a copy of the notarized. I don't have the original.
Okay,
I sent, emailed, you want to send this?
so let me put that in the package though, because we can pay off of that or
Yes.
approve that.
You want to sign it?
Yeah,
Sign it back?
absolutely. Because I was working with the draft one before. It's still the same price that's in the packet, I told Norm to rush it to get to me. Because we were meeting on an off week.
Do we not get lien waivers with these, or is that something that just follows up afterwards?
Not with these, no. We can request them from the general
Just
contractor,
curious.
but not, it's usually not part of this process, no.
Okay.
We get the certified payroll, but, yeah, not the.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you can, the top sheet will tell you each one. And if you look at the very bottom, they're keyed to it. So number one, you're really starting on number two. Number two would be AP Whitaker's invoice number 14. See how it matches up. So this number two, you read off number two down there, it tells you what it is.
AP Whitaker
Yep.
invoice number 14 for construction-related services approved by the architect and OPM. And that's $279,691.81.
Correct.
The next one would be, oh, each individual one we gotta do, approve first,
The whole thing.
or the whole thing?
Yeah. Does it need approval?
Typically, they've been doing it, yeah, reading them all off and approving it, yeah.
All together?
Yeah.
Okay. The second one would be for Pomeroy Associates, and that would be for $16,544. Next one is WSP
For 1,000.
for $1,000. Signet for $14,195. Langone for $4,500. Motorola for $89,142.82. TMLP, in the amount of $7,061. And SW Cole for $675.47. Take a motion to approve those.
So moved.
I'll second it. Any more discussion?
Yes, I got questions. And looking, because never really had time to look at all this detail, but question on the grass seeding, we're paying 100% of that.
It's complete.
You don't think we should have any retainage?
There's a 5% retainage.
There is retainage on it.
I looked at, let's see, help me out here. It was $1,500, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, I think we should see grass grown first, but $1,500 to reseed is ain't gonna do it, it has to be reseeded.
This is where you're gonna run into warranty issues. If you, they've performed the work, so we have to authorize payment. We have retainage, and you're right, if you have to do it over again, retainage doesn't support it. But we can't hold back payment because the grass isn't grown yet. They performed the work, so we have to then look at that as a warranty, coming back under warranty to fix what's not been performed, like any other thing on this list. So
Well, I don't know what the conditions are on the, in your plans, it's for what the grass is gonna grow, how quick and so forth, what they're responsible for to do,
stand of grass,
Yeah,
mowable stand of grass.
and, I'm sorry,
they own it to be established, fully established lawn. They own, I think, 3 cuts, so they have to walk away from a perfect one and turn it over to the town.
right, but if they have to redo it, and they decide that they don't wanna redo it, $1,500 isn't gonna do anything to redo it.
If you look at it like that, I would agree, yeah.
Okay.
I think knowing who the contractor is in Spillane and that they're working for AP Whitaker, I felt it was okay. If we wanna hold more money on them, we certainly can.
I don't know, I'm concerned about it, cause I've seen it in the past, and then we just, there's no grass growing yet,
Yeah.
it's just starting to grow.
I hear you, yeah, I've seen the same thing
And
happen.
it's gonna be, in the 90s here, come this weekend, and it's tough to grow grass in 90-degree weather. That's just my opinion.
We could, so they're asking for 30,000 of it, I could change it to 25,000 and then we'd be holding 6,500.
If nobody else is concerned about it, it's okay with me, but I'm concerned about it.
Sounds good to me.
Was there a line item for the grass in their
Yes, that's
proposal?
what I
Yeah,
was just talking
yeah,
about.
so
30,000.
30,000.
Okay.
So would you like to change that to?
I can change it to 25 and,
Okay,
So then we have 6,500.
yep, then you have 6,500.
What's duration, because they're gonna ask, what's the duration before they start to?
I mean, I would think at least 30 days, you know?
I, just so you can respond to it, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Their expectation is they did the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, being that I know the contract, I don't think they'll have an issue with this. Just listen, the town's worried about it growing, we're holding a little more money. I don't think they'll press it.
Okay, we know where we are on the commissioner. Signet. Remaining to invoice is only $8,200.
Yeah, they pretty much have,
And we have reports that everything's been tested?
no, they're testing things now. Their testing is really gonna be in front of the owner and then training. And they run the system.
They have reported to me that they have all systems running and recording at this time. So just know that if you're walking around, it's being recorded. But they have the equipment, all their equipment's purchased and on-site. They have to do some installs for the site cameras, and they have to do training.
The biggest problems that I've seen in building projects that I've been on is this. Security and data testing and so forth, and maybe Tim, has more experience in this than I do, but the last 3 building projects that I were on, this was a problem. And I can tell you one project that was completed and is open for a year, still isn't fixed the way it should be fixed. So I'm just saying that $8,200 is not a lot of money to hold back at this point, if that's what's left. Once again, it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree. I've seen it be problematic as well.
Thank you.
I know from just speaking to the people on site that have been doing the installations, their contention for weeks now really has been that they're largely installed and that
Yeah.
everything's up recording. I haven't seen that yet,
Yeah.
but that's been, the narrative that's been
All right, so,
passed the whole time.
if the town's not comfortable with it, that's fine. Their invoice is for only $14,000 this month. I'll just cut the whole thing and say, we're not paying you this month.
That's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think there'd probably be more of a comfort level. They've got the monitors already mounted in dispatch. If they just liven those up and,
Yeah.
showed some cameras on the
Yeah.
monitors, I think it'd be a
Different
simple as that.
contractor too,
Gotcha, okay.
than the one that you're talking about, I believe.
Well, those 2 monitors and,
Dispatch?
yeah, dispatch.
Yeah, those are Signet's monitors.
Yeah, those are Signet.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
The next question is, I am confused about this Langone Associates 2017 scope of work for radio communications consulting. And last month, they were only billing half of the $9,000 now, and that's almost 2 years later. What did they do?
He updated the proposal in 2018, but it was still $9,000. He just never billed for anything. So he's just billing now for his work that he did.
So we have a formal finalized report that included everything to do with the communications in the police department?
We don't have the final yet, but I believe he was billing for the draft report and then for going through the process of getting everything out on the street and bidding the radios. So he did that part. It was complete.
But was this study to do all the requirements for the communications in the police department?
That
You
I
don't
don't
know?
know.
What, the study was for it, correct, to look at exactly what the police station needed as far as radios go. So he performed that. I've seen the draft report. It hasn't been finalized yet, because he is still gonna include a part for the school, which he's doing at no cost.
So, this was supposed to have been done months ago, the requirements for what it was?
No, it's done. So. the
We never saw it, so I don't know what the results were.
So the results really went to the PD. That's how Ryan got all his information on how to know what to bid and what they were getting as far as the new systems go. So that's what went out to bid. That's what Motorola bid on. That's what they're installing. That's what Cybercom's installing. That was everything that Chick had put together. Those specifications that this is what you need. Here's what you got to put out to bid. It was bid on, and that's being installed now.
Okay. I don't think we should make final payment until we see that report.
So this is only half of
This is the
it.
first payment.
No, I understand, but, you know, this is almost 2 years later. You know, what was going on in that whole period of time, is my question. Because I've been complaining about this, Mike, for months, of this being an issue. So, I just want to understand what his responsibilities were to provide us, and we haven't seen anything, so. Maybe the chief has, I don't know.
I know Ryan's been working with him. I don't know to what extent.
I think he's definitely fulfilled half his contract. Again, putting that out to bid was a big process of speccing all that radio equipment and getting it in front of
Okay.
everyone. So I know that work was done.
So maybe you can share that report, maybe with the group, sounds like.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
kind of the missing
I thought I
piece.
actually sent a copy to you at one point, the draft report.
It
so,
wasn't, no comment on it.
Like, I can,
Leave it alone.
I can send.
I
the
wasn't
draft.
happy with it, so.
Okay.
On the Motorola stuff, is this 100% of the equipment, Sean?
No.
No.
Not even
No, but I
close.
mean on the radios? Looks like, what are these?
The first
Portables.
page is the portables.
Yeah, 25. Okay.
This is all from that first tranche.
Right.
So-
Are all these here and installed?
All the cruiser radios have been installed, the radio in the boat's been installed, portables are being issued, if they haven't already been issued. We have all of those.
And they've all been tested,
Yep,
because they're asking for 100% payment. Right?
yeah,
No, there'll still be more Motorola bills
but
coming.
there are
No, I
more
understand.
bills.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the equipment that's
Yeah.
on these invoices. Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
So, then if we just wanna revise, Signet is not gonna be paid. I'll cross that off, and so I have the correct number here. The revised amount for the AP Whitaker requisition will be $274,691.81. And what that does is removes $5,000 from the landscaping. So before you go tonight, I'll write that in on that sheet, and that way Rita can approve that number, or pay that number.
And then Signet, we said we weren't.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out of that
Okay,
package, so
alright.
she doesn't even have it.
Okay. All right. Any other? You all set? Okay. Motion to approve?
There was a motion already
Yeah.
made, and we amended it,
Amended
so all you
it.
have to do is approve, yeah.
Okay.
All
All those in favor?
right.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing is Open discussion, new business. I think we already did that. If anybody else has anything else.
All right. As I was walking through the building today, I thought I'd just want to explain to the committee the lighting that we have in the building and how it's being operated. The energy codes that are out today have really eliminated light switches for on and off. We have to go to some more lighting controls that we've implemented in this building to meet the energy code. So we've done it 3 different ways. So if you're going through the building, it might be to your benefit to know how the lighting is controlled. In the training classroom, we have switches in there, but the lighting levels are controlled by a daylight sensor. So if it's sunny outside, there's a daylight sensor that reads the amount of natural light coming in the building, and it adjusts the lumens that are coming out of your light fixtures. So if it gets, if it's a bright sunny day, the lights won't be as bright. If it's at night, the lights will give you some more output. So we have that in the training classroom. Throughout the rest of the building, we have vacancy sensors and occupancy sensors. And they're 2 different things. And you might wonder, what's the difference? One's an occupancy sensor. So if it's a room that has an occupancy sensor, you walk in the room, the lights go on, and then you leave the room and the lights will go off after a predetermined time that you can adjust in the sensor. So you don't have to touch anything. You just walk in, walk out, and the lights will go off. But that's an occupancy sensor. Most of the offices down here are equipped with vacancy sensors, which means you have to go in and you have to push a button on the wall to say that the room has occupancy, but you don't have to touch the button when you leave. They'll again go off automatically. So all of your lights will automatically go off. The one exception to that would be Sallyport, prisoner processing, because those are secure areas. You can keep those lights on. Those are not on any sensors. So you don't want to be in prisoner processing. Somebody's not moving for a while in the place and it goes dark. So those don't have any sensors on them. So if you're looking at the switches and wondering what all these are doing, it is controlling the amount of light and the amount of energy you're using out of the light fixtures. So there's the reason that we use vacancy sensors is if you're gonna go into a room, just grab something and leave, or walk through a room and not need a light to come on, the light won't come on. So you'll save more energy. You just want to go in and grab something and grab something off my desk and leave. I don't need to turn the lights on to do that. The lights won't go on because you didn't push the vacancy sensor. But certain rooms, you're going to go in and the lights will go on automatically. So there is a difference. You might be confused as to how they operate, but that's the design of the lighting system. So just know that walking through. Vacancy sensors, occupancy sensors. There is a difference.
Okay. Anything else? Schedule next meeting.
Sean, at one point, the new building has a very nice spot for a copier, which the PD does not have. So I did some pricing on copiers. I get a price of $10,044 for a copier, so I was hoping to ask the committee for consideration of that.
It has a place for a copier and doesn't have a copier,
We-
doesn't need a copier.
We
Yeah,
don't.
we do need a copier.
Yeah, we don't have one here that we can transfer to the new building, so copier's been on their wish list for a while, so.
Is that a hard number you have?
Yeah,
What was it again?
10,044.
So we don't have a copy machine in this building?
Not a good one.
They're using more like desktop style copiers like you might have at home. as opposed to a true copy center that'll, you know, staple and collate.
Like the ones at the town hall?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The one that I'm suggesting is the one they just purchased for town hall, the exact make model.
So it'll all be networked and stuff like that, so
Correct,
actually it's
yeah.
gonna save money.
Copy, scan, fax, yeah, because right now what they're doing is using a lot of really inkjet style printers with it, spending a small fortune on ink.
Yep.
So, and printing slow.
Any more
Wow.
discussion on that?
We need it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Maybe the association can buy it.
These guys, storing their truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Trade.
Any updates on the equipment visit?
We're waiting until final cleaning before we call them and say, bring it down.
All right, well, I guess I'll make a motion to buy a new copy machine for $10,044.
Yes.
I'll
Gotta
second
be
it.
done.
All in favor? Aye.
We're okay on that, right, Taylor?
What's that? Oh, yeah,
Still all right?
money.
Okay.
No, so you didn't hear that.
He doesn't like it when I come to the construction meeting. Anything else, Tim?
No, that's it for now.
Anybody else have anything else? Schedule next meeting.
Yeah, I didn't schedule one yet. If we stay, the only thing I was thinking is the opening, we're typically meeting the Wednesday at the beginning of every month, so I didn't know if we wanted to try to schedule one before they open, or if everybody's okay with keeping on track with what we were doing, and, you know, they might be moved in. We could meet, obviously, at the station at that point, keep it on the same schedule, and meet first Wednesday of July.
Oh, that's.
That's the
third.
4th of July.
Yeah,
August.
that doesn't make sense.
August.
August, yeah, sorry, because we met early this week. So yeah, it'd be August 7th,
At the new PD.
at the new PD.
It's good to me.
It's my anniversary.
Bring her along, it'll be fun.
Come on.
She'll have a good time.
You have to keep it up now that you came to this one, you gotta be at the next one.
And I think it was your intent to have an open house after you occupy, right?
We're planning on having a few open houses.
Yeah.
One just for the officers and their families, one for the public, and then a ribbon
Nice.
cutting as well.
Nice.
That's the plan. I don't know if that will happen. That's the plan.
Yeah, typically, I'm sure Brian will tell you the same thing, that we see the departments like to get in, massage the place a little bit, get everything in working order, comfortable with everything, and then start to let the public in, rather than trying to do it before, because then it's just a madhouse.
So that'll be sometime in August then.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.